Team ban.
Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to the PantheonES Cup. This is the qualifier portion of the competition and this is our second round of play. We have DareDevilDota versus Snatch lined up for you guys.
Remaining.
A big apology about the delay. DareDevilDota were trying to get their final player in here. As a result, they have forfeited all of their bonus time and they actually just blanked their first ban. So, hopefully Tinky is
Radiant
here and
team
ready
ban.
to go. I'm really hoping that we don't have a remake. Did I confirm that the players were ready? I did. They said they were ready. Okay, looks like we're
Team ban.
looks like we're back to it. Okay. So, we did have a little bit of a delay because DareDevilDota were trying to get their fifth player in here. My understanding is that Mescal was having some connection issues at his home, so we had to move to go and play from a different location. But rest assured, rules are being enforced. They've lost their bonus time. A little bit unfortunate, but hopefully with this, we'll be able to stay on schedule. Do I have any other notes to make? Of course, if you guys want to support this event, you can buy the $1 ticket for all 3 days of coverage. Things are, again, only going to get better as we move from the qualifier today into the main event tomorrow. And I think I've introduced myself, but for anybody not familiar, I'm Basecamp. Great to be here casting for you guys today. So, DareDevilDota, having blanked one of their bans, are going to get rid of the Nature's Prophet, Snatch Steal, ban out the Ember Spirit, so another game, another Ember ban. And they're also going to opt to get rid of the Nyx Assassin. DareDevilDota, with the opportunity to grab an Invoker, are going to snap that up. No clear indications just yet if it's going to be Quas-Wex or Quas-Exort. Both are extremely viable at the moment. And a big reason why this hero sort of reached the first pick, first ban status that it's sitting at right now. And Snatch still going to go for an Alchemist and a Luna. Not sure what Aussie teams have been doing with the Alchemist recently. In China, it's still fairly popular as a mid. Don't think I've seen it as a support for quite a while. And probably not going to be your farmer here either with the Luna picked up. I'm kind of leaning towards the mid right now just because you would prefer to have ranged supports up against, well, to team up with your Luna. And the Alchemist as a support is good at ganking, he's good at counter pushing, but counter pushing isn't really something that Snatch still need to be doing against the DareDevilDota lineup just yet. So probably expecting to see maybe your mid Alchemist coming out here, though that can be a little bit difficult against an Invoker. But Acid Spray Spam can always prevail in a lot of 1v1 matchups that you would think are just absolutely awful. So anyway, Snatch still gonna get rid of the Lycan. DareDevilDota pick up the Batrider. I think people have been getting away with, and I'm gonna have to qualify this statement in a second, but I think people have been getting away with the Batrider pickups in competitive Dota a little bit more than they should be at the moment. Things like it seems as though people have forgotten in some small ways how to deal with the Batrider initiation, so he often sets up a team fight that exactly your team wants to have, but he's not that difficult to deal with, and this is actually a good way to do it. The Snatch Steel going to end up picking up the Disruptor here. Glimpse is a fantastic way to break Lasso, though that little bit of animation, that little bit of delay can make it less than ideal in some situations. Disruptor also going to be a nice pickup here against the Invoker if he's silenced. Not too much of a threat. And the same thing applies for the Lifestealer as well. If you can get the Static Storm down on him before he rages, then he's actually a very squishy hero. So nice pickup here from Snatch Steel. Finishing off that thought about how to deal with the Batrider. For a little while back when Bat was kind of at the peak of his popularity, teams are starting to use Abaddon and Vengeful Spirit as ways to counter-initiate against the Bat. You can dispel Lasso. You can swap somebody out of Lasso as well. Some teams like Cloud9, still heavily picking the Wisp, have been using those short distance relocates as a countermeasure to the Lasso as well. So, I don't know. I think Batrider, not that absurdly difficult to deal with. We'll see how he does in this game. This could be a game to try and farm up a BKB, if at all possible, just so you get that pretty much a guaranteed initiation. And I guess other honorable mentions against Batrider: instant disables. We're talking Hex on Lion or Rasta. A lift from Rubik can be great, and Carapace on Nyx is of course fantastic. But he's being
Radiant
banned out.
team pick.
What else have we got going on? So DDD chose to ban out the Death Prophet. Again, the bans end up looking a little bit weird when you miss your first ban. So they missed their first ban, so everybody should kind of be shuffled down
Dire team
one
ban.
right now. So I hope nobody's confused by that. And Snatch still end up going for a Doom. DareDevilDota gonna pick up. DareDevilDota gonna end up picking up a Lion here, so some nice roaming power out of them. Probably just looking for their second support, unless they're gonna be quite greedy about how they choose to run these lanes. There might have been an opportunity up until the point where they picked the Lion to go for an aggressive tri-lane, but just given how weak a support Lion is in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, because of how level dependent he is, that's probably not the strongest option here. For DDD. They could still go for it, but I think you miss out on a lot of the advantages that the Lion brings you. He's such a good solo roamer. The Lion by himself can smoke over to mid, and with a little bit of help from the Invoker, pick up a kill on whoever is there. And again, a little bit underwhelming as far as tri-lane versus tri-lane is concerned. So we'll see what they end up going for here. Rubik just going to be the ban for Snatch Steal, so still anticipating that DDD are going to be going for second support. Still not 100% sure what's going to be happening as far as roles are concerned on the Snatch Steal side. They don't really have a true offlaner, but some teams do just run the Doom offlane, plays very defensively, recovers because he has Devour. So that could be an option here. Some teams have even run an Alchemist offlane, but not enormously popular. If we're seeing that, we're probably going to see Snatch Steal maybe start out with some boots on their offlaner or one of their supports and zoom down towards bottom lane. Try and get a cheeky ward down to just make sure that whoever is on the offlane, if it's going to be one of these two heroes, the Doom or the Alchemist, that they can have a reasonable time. But Snatch Steal, 22 seconds left, make their final selection, and we'll see how their lanes are going to pan out. And of course, DareDevilDota with that oh so valuable last pick, ready to respond to whatever Snatch Steal pick up here.
5 seconds remaining.
Witch Doctor.
Okay, so Snatch Steal gonna end up going for a Witch Doctor. I like it, honestly. So I guess that's support Disruptor, support Witch Doctor, Alch Core, Doom Core, Luna Core. The hero's pretty good now. Voodoo Restoration is now a lot better than it used to be. It's the same efficiency pretty much at all levels, except so the heal per second is always twice the mana per second now. So the only thing that changes is you heal faster at the same efficiency, and the initial casting cost goes up by a little bit as well. So technically higher ranks are a little bit less efficient, but in the grand scheme of things, Voodoo Restoration now actually does scale very well. Maledict AoE, I believe, went up a little bit, and you can now Paralyzing Cask heroes that you can't see. So if somebody is up a hill where they fog you, then the cask can still continue bouncing. Though there are upsides and downsides to that change. In some situations it's going to be good because you get another stun on somebody that fogs you. In some situations it's going to be bad because your cask spirals off. Your cask spirals off to something that you can't see. So yeah. Okay, and Tinky would like permission to remake AP. I don't think there's a stance in the rules for this. Can we get one consistent? I would like just one consistent stance from Snatch Steal. The only reason okay, give me a sec, guys. Okay, so it looks like we're just gonna get ourselves underway with this game. For anybody wondering, DareDevilDota are coming into this match as the favorites, just from past experience. But Snatch still gonna be a little bit cheeky. Looks like they're going for some level 1 Roshan action. They've got a Stout Shield over on the Doom, 2 salves, Stout Shield, 3 salves on the Alchemist. And they've got a Luna, so they got all the damage that they need to go for this. And looks like DareDevilDota are going to be caught out a little bit unawares here. Nobody is heading over to Scout. And
I am grateful.
DDD still with their thoughts on the initial delays. Looks like they're not going to end up catching this one. They are moving over towards the pit vaguely. But will they realize this in time? Roshan already dropping pretty quickly. Acid Spray, Witch Doctor heals, 2 melee heroes tanking, and the Lunar Blessing making this very straightforward. And yeah, looks like it should be a pretty easy level 1 Roshan for the Snatch Steel team. Yeah, DareDevilDota caught completely unawares. I think this game is... Level 1 Roshan is not... Okay, level 1 Roshan is very strong. It's not unbeatable. As you can see, everybody on Snatch Steel is now going to start off at level 2.5, so that makes lanes pretty difficult. But DareDevilDota, their lane configuration, I think, is fine for dealing with this. They're not going for something aggressive, so it means that they're not going to be punished for tri-lane versus tri-lane. And I think so long as they play their cards right, they should still be able to come back. But nicely done by Snatch Steel. Does mess around with their initial item builds and stuff a little bit, but they got level 2, so they got whatever they were going to grab as their first skill anyway, and that bit of extra gold means you can grab some regen if you do need it. As far as warding is concerned, this Dire Ward, I believe, is not quite being spotted out, but there was a ping, I believe, from DDD, so... Which is going to be okay. Narcotic somehow zoning out the Alchemist to start things off. He hasn't got anything delivered just yet, but all he needs is 1 CS to grab his bottle and get that one shipped out and get the acid spray spam going. So things should be looking okay for him. There's going to be a concoction for a little bit of harassment. Nothing that the Invoker can do to stop it. He's still only level 1. But meanwhile, Doom starts off over in the jungle, kind of. He's already almost level 3. Just from that first Devour. He's got the Aegis as well. And the one thing that I haven't done is introduce the teams. Boons has somehow got 6 stacks over on the Luna. High levels over on the Snatch Steel supports. Not going to deter him here, though. It looks like he is going to end up going down. No Thunderstrike, not quite enough. Boons over in the trees, going to tango his way through, but looks like one more right click from the Witch Doctor. It's going to finish him off. That was... I would say over-aggressive from Boons, but not completely unexpected. So, downhill go, Salve going to be passed over to the Luna, and we return to things being as normal up on this top lane for Snatch Steel. Meanwhile, Doom doing alright for himself as DDD runs some pulls through. Looks like they should be able to spot out this ward up on the high ground, get rid of it as the 2-minute invis is going to spawn. Meanwhile, Alchemist has his bottle now mid, so he can get some acid spray spam going on, though. Narcotic doing okay for himself as far as CS is concerned, and gonna get some nice cold snap harassment down now as well. Looks like he's heading in for a Quas Wex build. 2 clues, 2 points of Quas early on. Well, now there's a point in Wex as well, so pretty obvious at this point, but heading straight towards the phase boots and 2 points in Quas early on does typically mean that you're going to be seeing Quas Wex, and I think it's the right build to be going for here. It gives them some extra team fight power, lets them stall the game out a little bit as well if they want to try and work towards the late game where the Lifestealer and the Invoker should be pretty scary, though the thing to always keep in mind is that they are going to be up against a Doom, a Luna, and an Alchemist, all of which are fantastic late game cores in their own right. So DDD, despite being at a disadvantage, might be forced to start looking to 5-man a little bit once they have the Blink Dagger up on the Batrider, start to force some towers down and just get over onto the Snatch Steel side of the game. Aegis is going to be popped down on bot, but there was only another 2.5 minutes with that one anyway, so not a huge loss for the Doom, and getting some really good levels going on here as well. As far as CS is concerned, Narcotic going to start pulling ahead of no one on mid. And I haven't introduced the teams yet, so let's do that. This is the PantheonES Cup, this is the qualifier, and this is DDD versus Snatch Deal, so DareDevilDota up against Snatch Deal. And over on DareDevilDota we have Tinky on the Lion, Juppy on the Dazzle, Mescal, the carry player, over on the Lifestealer, Nycotic. Their one stand-in for this game is going to be on the Invoker. And to round things off, we have Lord Boons over on the offlane on the Batrider. Meanwhile, for Snatch Deal, we have Lissandra on the Disruptor. We've got Silencia on the Luna, Optic on the Witch Doctor, no one on the Alchemist, and Missa is over on the Doom. Disruptor gonna waddle over towards mid, I think, to maybe try and find a courier or perhaps a kill, but it's an Invoker, so he's not buying a bottle. So it looks like, yeah, Disruptor just gonna have to head up towards top, see if they can do something about Boons, who has just popped his Firefly, so once that fades, he doesn't really have a means of escape here if the wave gets hammered into the tower. Bassie's being turned on by the Luna, so the slightest of clues for Boons that there's a push coming and there might be a little bit of a wraparound gank. We'll see if he manages to sniff it out. And meanwhile, DDD moving their supports down towards bottom lane. Doom wildly out of position, is going to get hit by an open wounds. This should be a pretty easy kill. Got some action happening top lane at the same time, so as soon as this kill is over, we're going to jump ourselves over to that, and looks like Doom should have no way out. Going to try for a TP, but it's not going to work. And we switch over towards top, where the dive from Snatch Deal comes in. Are going to be able to pick up that kill, even without using the glimpse. Looks like just kinetic field into the cask, into the beam. Nice straightforward pickup for them, and looks like that should transition them into a tier 1 tower as well. They've got the 2 points up in the Voodoo Restoration. Should be very easy, even if this next group wave arrives up here. And Boons, after that death, does have some good levels, but he's not going to risk anything further up in this top lane with the Disruptor getting more levels and upping Glimpse. So, and because of more levels in Glimpse, Firefly is no longer really an escape mechanism, so he's just going to head over into the jungle, start working his way towards that all-important Blink Dagger.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Doom, still holding on to the tower down here, almost level 6, doesn't really have a whole lot to speak of as far as item progression is concerned, but again, Doom can kind of recover from this offlane position, a little bit of jungling going on later. Meanwhile, Nycotic has his phase boots mid along with 900 gold. Not sure exactly what build we're expecting here. The stock standard Quaswex Invoker these days does seem to be phase, wand, drum, force staff, and then straight into a hex. Some players do pick up an Orchid, which could be quite good here. There's also some arguments maybe for going for a Lincoln Sphere at some point this game, though personally wouldn't be a huge fan. There's a lot of ways to break it, and you know, not to mention just the Lucent Beam. And Boons, despite those deaths up on top lane, making a really nice recovery. 1300 gold already up in the bank. I don't think the supports have stacked for him, but he's just taking advantage of the fact that he can clear multiple camps at once. Just needs to make sure that he doesn't die to the Doom. Doom actually goes for the creep instead of going for the kill. Could just pop the Scorched Earth for extra movement speed. Doom and level death, and that should be it. This is even a level 1 level death. The multiplier is 6. You would just kill Boons outright if you got that level death down. It's going to deal 20% of his health. Plus 125. This is... I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity for the Doom there, but... Boon's going to be able to retreat. DDD going to make their way in with their siege creep ready for a push. Meanwhile, Snatch Deal, 2 supports heading towards mid, going to look for this Invoker. Did they bring some anti-invis with them? They did not. Nycotic, is he going to be able to pick up this kill? He's got a Tornado. He needs to catch all 3. He does. Going to try and phase boot away. One more right click's going to finish him off, but Boons comes in, bounces the supports back. The heals from both the Alchemist and the Witch Doctor go to work, and I don't know if DDD can finish this one off, but Boons is still going to make an attempt at it. Firefly almost going to fade as he makes his way back up onto the cliff, and just going to be the kill there in favor of Snatch Deal. So 3-1 the lead for them, over 2k gold, heading towards 3k, and experience actually touched down at 0 briefly, though that kill is going to bounce it back over
tower is under attack.
Into Snatch Deal's favor.
Invisibility.
But all of DDD's heroes doing very well in terms of CS. There's going to be a Doom out onto Tinky, and Doom continues to fight. Juppy's going to come in. There's going to be a glimpse back. They need this grave ready. Juppy, what are you up to there? Maybe not expecting the Lucent Beam from the Luna. And that's gonna be no salvation for the Lion. He was probably dead anyway, so just gonna leave him to his fate there. But Snatch Steal, everybody's TP down towards bot. Looks like they're just gonna take a shot at this tower.
Radiant's
No one
middle
gonna keep
tower is
pressuring in
under
towards
attack.
mid, but Nycotic coming in from the side, ready to go. Lands a tornado, EMP coming in as well. He's got the snap. Down goes the Batrider Lasso,
Radiant's
and
bottom
down
tower is
goes
under
the
attack.
Alchemist. So DDD at the very least getting a kill out of this trade. Looks like the tier 1 tower bottom lane is gonna end up being the price they pay.
Radiant's bottom
It's gonna end up being the
has
price that they
fallen.
pay for it, though. And Luna just straight in towards a
Dyer's
drum.
middle tower
right
is under
now.
attack.
DDD gonna try and get a tower of
structures
their
are
own, and
fortified.
Snatch Steal. Oh, they got some TPs cooling down, but
Dyer's
no, it
middle
looks like they should
tower
be
is
just
under
fine to
attack.
get this. They had the glyph. Everybody's making their way across. Vision from the Radiant, in fact. So DDD actually gonna have to back off a little bit earlier than maybe they would have liked, just because they don't have any information as to where Snatch Steal are. Worst case scenario for DDD there would have been a smoke from bottom lane, making its way through the jungle, and then catching them in the river, moving in over from over here. So that's part of the reason why they back off so defensively there, just because they have no idea where those heroes bottom lane went, though they knew that they were heading towards mid. So Snatch Steal, as is kind of natural for a level 1 Roshan lineup, they've got a big advantage, and they're just going to keep on 5-manning. The question is, are they going to be punished for it? Boons
Radiant's middle
almost has
tower
that Blink
is under
Dagger up,
attack.
so ready to try and get some nice initiations down. Tier 1 tower being chipped away at mid, but Nycotic going to come in, drops down the EMP. Doom a little bit slow on the response, but they've got 3 pairs of Arcane Boots. So, well, EMP barely going to tickle the mana pools there. And DDD, see if they can hold. They've got a Haste Rune on the Batrider, but no Blink Dagger just yet. Boon's tantalizingly close, but not quite. Meanwhile, Silencia continues to farm away on top, applying a little bit of pressure. No points in the Moonglaive just yet. Would honestly prefer to see a point in Glaive as opposed to more points in Lunar Blessing, just because pushes waves fast, you jungle, you can actually jungle with 1 point in Moonglaves. With no points, this is going to be painfully slow. And Boons with the Haste Rune is on his way up. He's looking for this one. Can he get the Luna? She's pretty fast. Didn't pop the drum. Out comes the Doom. Out pops the Lifestealer as well. Open Wound's going to be used. In comes Optic. He's got the heals. 3 points up in that already. And out comes the Witch Doctor ultimate. Brings down one. Boon's still doomed up. Looks like he should take a fall as well. And DDD, over aggressive, are going to be punished by 4 heroes. Well, 3 heroes from Snatch Steal rotating into position. Though it looks like no one going to be caught out one more time over at mid. Nycotic is pretty low. Goes into the tornado, doesn't have Ghost Walk. Is the Acid Spray going to tick him out? He gets graved. Force Staff gets delivered. No one going to make his way up onto the high ground. Juppy looks like he's dead. Lucent Beam's going to finish him off. Hex over onto the creep. Tinky, bit of a misplay from him, gets sent over into the tree. Static Storm gets dropped, but the kinetic field does not connect. Tinky skirting the edge of the Static Storm there. Will die to one more beam. Killing spree from Optic. No one looking for a stun, but the person that he stuns is no one.
Radiant's middle tower
And
is under attack.
looks like Snatch Steal going to be able to bring this forward into another tower.
Radiant's
7
middle
kills
tower
their
has
lead,
fallen.
7.5k gold, 4k experience, and DareDevilDota
Thanks.
wishing that they'd seen. This is just something that everybody, and I think especially in the Australian scene, needs to remember. If you see Luna and 2 melee heroes, check Roshan. And this is something that's caught out a lot of teams. I think just underestimating how much extra damage the Lunar Blessing does give you. But anyway, Luna now has that point up in Glaives, has a Yasha online as well. Alchemist should probably have a mech pretty. No, okay. Alchemist not going for a mech.
Roshan
Maybe
has
just a
fallen
Blink
to the
Dagger for him. Doom actually has the mech now completed if he wants to buy it. And yeah, okay, so just a Blink Dagger for the Alchemist, and Snatch Steal should just be able to continue 5-manning. This Witch Doctor is very rich as well. Another 2k gold. On top of his Arcane Boots, even more, well, fighting for net worth positioning with the Invoker. And DDD, what can they do? They don't have a drum up on their Lifestealer just yet. He's looking a little bit raw, and that gank on the Luna, which didn't work out, has really put him a long way behind. Yeah, this might just be it. That level 1 Roshan might have been a little bit too much. And Snatch Steel, feeling like they were the underdogs coming into this game, I'll pull off a slightly cheesy strat, but everybody has to lose to the level 1 Roshan once in a while, even in professional games. So DDD, knowing that they are a long way behind, not going to try and take this full-on team fight because there's a mech on the Doom. It's just a terrible idea. EMP is, as we saw earlier, not really a threat against all of these arcane boots, and taking a tier 1 for a tier 2 is about the best they can hope for right now, unfortunately.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower
does
is under
have
attack.
his Blink Dagger
Radiant's
up
bottom
now,
tower
so
has fallen.
they can start getting some pickoffs on these highly leveled
Dire's top
on these
tower
highly leveled
has
heroes,
fallen.
many of which have kill streaks. If we check in on the streaks, we've got a killing spree,
bottom
killing
tower
spree,
is under
killing
attack.
spree.
Dire's
Nothing
middle
for the
tower
Doom
is
or
under
the
attack.
Alchemist. EMP's going to come in. Disruptor trying to run forward to get out of that one. Not going to work out. Snap used as well. Boons biding his time with this Invis rune to try and get some good initiation down. They have to coordinate it with the Invoker Force Staff so Boons doesn't immediately get bursted. So let's see if DDD can get the coordination going on with the stand-in
Dire's
here.
middle tower
Tier 3
is
tower
under
already
attack.
dropping very quickly. They have to go for something here. The Force Staff goes out. Nice coordination. Doom, however, used onto Mescal, and the Static Storm catches that too. The Kinetic Field comes in as well. They're going to use the Grave over on Tinky, but looks like Nycotic going to end up falling as the cask bounces through. Tinky can at least drop his ultimate before he dies, throws it over onto the Alchemist, but he's still got Aegis and the Chemical Rage running. In comes a nice tornado from Nycotic after the buyback. They should be able to bring down the Doom. He will take a fall. Aegis has been used and no one comes back without an ultimate. Snap onto Optic. DDD need these kills. They need these levels. Force Staff forward onto the Lifestealer. Boone's gonna throw out the Flame Break as well, but a nice 2-man stun along with a glimpse buys these remaining heroes from Snatch Steel a little bit of space to escape, but Nycotic deciding that he's not done. Snap coming back in 2 seconds, as is Tornado. Optic with nothing left. The Tornado catches both. Looks like Optic definitely gonna take a fall, and no one deciding that he wants to turn around here. Gets the stun down, pops the ultimate one more time. Juppy gonna turn tail and run, but no one instead focusing onto Nycotic. Silencia, after being initiated on at the start of this fight, has actually respawned, makes their way back in, and picks up a kill over on the Dazzle. So DDD, let's take stock. What did they use? They used 2 buybacks. They got a couple of kills. They didn't really equalize the gold at all, but they did claw their way back a bit in terms of experience. As far as hero levels are concerned, they're looking alright, but they are still definitely behind. And they can't keep throwing buybacks at these fights, unfortunately. So that was the one fight that they really, really needed to win. They pretty much did, but Snatch Steel can just go straight back in. They don't have the Aegis this time around, but the Aegis didn't really do too much for them there. And Boons was a little bit lucky to start things off with an Invis, though we did, of course, have his Blink Dagger ready to be able to initiate. So we'll see. DDD. Maybe if they can get another item up on the Lifestealer, start making him a little bit more formidable, then they can go from there, but they're not too close to anything right now. They've got almost a Force Staff, well, not even almost a Force Staff on the Batrider. Boons is still a ways away right now. And checking in on Snatch Steel, what do we got? We probably got a whole lot of gold sitting in inventories yet. Lysandra has 2.3k. There is 2.6k over on the Luna, so pretty much completed Manta Style sitting right there. Witch Doctor, 1.2k. Does he have something over on the Courier? Yep, okay, he's just working on a pipe. So Snatch Steel trying to finish off those items that are going to let them break up onto the high ground before DDD can start clawing their way back. And the Doom has 1,200 gold. Nothing on the Courier? Nope. So we'll see what the Doom ends up working towards next. I'm not sure what else there is to say, honestly. This game can very much be summarized by Snatch Steel, level 1 Roshan, and then 5-man. And DDD, I'm personally of the opinion that level 1 Roshan is not unrecoverable. It's not impossible to win if the enemy team gets level 1 Roshan, though it is, of course, very difficult. and we had some moments from them where, if you look back, things could have gone a little bit better. They went for that. Of course, when you're behind, you have to make riskier plays to come back. If DDD had just engaged in a far more against Snatch Steal and then taken team fights on their terms, they would have lost. So that's the other thing to keep in mind with some of these moves. But DDD try for the kill on the Luna before they had the Blink Dagger, just because they had the haste on Boons. They don't get the kill. It gets turned around. They lose 2 there. That's 2 kills that Snatch Steal probably shouldn't have gotten. And that's 1 kill on the Luna that they missed that they probably should have got, had they just been maybe a little bit more patient with grabbing the Blink Dagger on the Batrider before looking for those ganks. So that's the one big thing that stands out right now. Mid lane was pretty good. There was maybe a chance that the Invoker could have survived that 3-man gank there, but he actually pushed a new spell in. He actually invoked a new spell because he thought he could get the solo kill on the Alchemist, but that man didn't have Ghost Walk, wasn't able to survive the gank. And that was maybe one small thing for DDD, but yeah, on the whole, it's pretty much just level 1 Urshan, very strong for Snatch Steal here. They've got a little Ancient stack going on as well, so even more gold ready to flow into the hands of the Luna and the Alchemist. Alk has 1700 gold up in his inventory, so might even just pick up a Vlad's pretty soon, honestly. Or the Doom can pick up the Vlad's. The other one can work on the AC and just have mass aura stacks, go in 5-man down some Raxes, and go from there. Roshan is going to potentially respawn in 4 minutes time, maximum time from now, about 7. But still waiting on the Doom to reconnect. Should hopefully be back pretty soon. And then we can get ourselves back underway. DDD, what can they hope to do? Do they have a smoke picked up somewhere? They do. They've got 2 smokes over on Tinkies, so Team Captain ready to try and get some more of these. Again, they have to go for risky plays. They have to try and get these pickoffs. They have to try and end these streaks. Though it looks like they did actually end the bulk of those streaks in the last team fight. The Disruptor, the Luna, and the Witch Doctor all came in. Oh, also, I guess the one other thing to mention is that Boons got 6 stacks on the Luna and then decided to dive the tier 1 tower, which is a bit of a questionable play. But anyway, going back to this, they did manage to get all of those streaks out as well, because all of these 3 heroes came into that fight bottom lane 3-0 whatever, and they went back to the fountain with whatever won. So DDD did get a bit of an injection of gold there. Okay, so the Doom's back. Can we go? Oh, okay, never mind. So it's that thing where it shows them up the top as being back before they're actually reconnecting to the game. So as soon as they start trying to load in, I think it changes up here, but it doesn't actually say that they've reconnected down here until they're actually back in control of their hero, which is a bit of a difference from how it used to work. I'm not actually sure how many patches ago they changed that, but it is definitely helpful in pubs because it gives you an indication that the person is coming back, but people don't really try and unpause until the message pops up. We'll see if that behavior changes as people get used to the new system. We might just see people unpausing as soon as the disconnect symbol isn't there anymore. But anyway, we're back underway. Lifestealer has a drum, so Mescal still managing to scrape together a little bit of farm, though things are looking pretty bleak as far as net worth is concerned. And I have no idea why Valve have not fixed these graphs, but the time scale gets really messed up during pauses. So every single time you see a pause in a Dota game, the gold difference and whatnot will flatline, and I think the timestamps stop corresponding as well. I don't think the graphs have ever been accurate in a game that gets paused, and personally it's very frustrating, but we can still get an idea of what the difference in gold and difference in experience is. At least that's accurate. Anyway, so Pipe completed for the Witch Doctor. Got the maxed out Voodoo Restoration as well, which I think people honestly underestimate a little bit. It's very, very efficient, a lot of healing, and just fantastic for sustaining pushes. And looks like Snatch Steal, do they have a smoke? No, Roshan's not up yet, guys. It looks like they've kind of lost track a little bit of what they were up to, though. It looks like maybe the plan is just make their way back in bottom lane. 5 mana on its way. DareDevilDota gonna do their best to bring down the tier 1 mid and get a little bit more gold in their pockets. Narcotic is working towards an Orchid right now, so not gonna be, well, it's easy to build up, and in this kind of situation I don't think it's a bad choice at all. I would like to see a wand in his inventory personally, but probably not a huge deal at the end of the day. He is probably about to pick up his point in Exhort. Some players like to get it at 11. Some players do delay it to a little bit later, and extra points in Wex does mean that the EMP is going to pack a little bit more of a punch, and Narcotic, realizing that he's the one that needs to be there first to defend, is going to make his way down towards bottom lane to try and stall things out. Okay, Pipe's going to be popped, EMP comes in, along with the Tornado, does burn the bulk of the mana from the Luna, but in comes the Arcane Boots. They're focusing on the ranged barracks, and the rest of DDD now in position. Boons, the one to watch, he's going to jump in, drags back the Disruptor, but in comes the Cask, bouncing around. Tinky unable to drop too much just yet. The Eclipse actually manages to clean up the Lion on the backside of the fight. Narcotic gets graved, he's going to head back, but Snatch Steal just completely overrunning. Buyback from Tinky, looking for a stun right now, but in blinks no one. Another EMP gonna go down, but I don't think that's gonna stop Snatch Steal from fighting. Nice flame break, bouncing everybody back. The snap goes out onto the Doom. They bring him down. Alchemist trying to retreat out, as is the Luna. Can they catch up here? They've got a Force Staff. The Dire Courier also going to end up going down in the midst of all of this. Another set of phase boots off cooldown for Narcotic. He's got his Force Staff ready as well. In jumps Boons. Narcotic in a little bit of trouble. There should be some heals from Juppy. In comes the ultimate as well. Right clicks going to be enough, along with the stun. Force Staff forward onto Boons. Luna hits the deck, and DDD that time around it cost them one fresh buyback. And they got a bunch of kills. Tornado's gonna fly in as well. Not gonna catch out Optic, but looks like Cassandra dead for sure. Does manage to drop the Static Storm, and looks like it's actually Boons who's gonna be in some trouble. However, the Dazzle ultimate is gonna save him from the bulk of the damage from the Death Ward, and away he'll go.
My thanks.
And the fight's not over just yet. Tinky actually heading in a long way. Gets Force Staffed back, but there's a glimpse waiting for Juppy. Tinky not going to take this opportunity to just run for it, and Mesco going to keep on fighting Juppy. Tries for the TP. Looks like he should be able to get out. Another EMP comes in. DDD, this prolonged fight is working for them. And Narcotic just hitting every single spell. No mana left on the Disruptor. Nothing left for Optic either. And Alchemist actually going to end up stunning himself a little bit further up. Double kill for the Lifestealer, and with that, DDD actually bring it back to only a 2-kill deficit. Wow, okay. And we've got the Batrider loaded up one more time. Snap, not sure what that went out on. It was actually on the Luna, but they grabbed the Alchemist one more time. And DDD close it back up to only a 1-kill difference right now. And the net worth starting to look a lot healthier as well. It's no longer 4 Dire Heroes all on the top. And Snatch still didn't even get the melee barracks. It still stands. So it looks like DareDevilDota not done just yet. Gonna close up that gold difference a little bit. Only 6k the deficit right now. And experience is going to catapult into their favor. 5k the lead, which is equal to the lead that Snatch Steal had at their highest point. So Snatch Steal, that was not what they were hoping for. Probably going to take things a little bit more slowly next time around. Wait for the Aegis. Maybe grab another tier 2, then push up onto the high ground, just because they should be able to grab this melee barracks as an afterthought after grabbing the mid-racks. But DDD now kind of have the tools to be able to fight back. Boons is going to start working his way towards a BKB. Again, talked about it during the draft. Pretty natural pickup for him to go for here. And Mescal, how's he doing? Working his way towards an S&Y. Always the preferred choice against a Doom. You don't want to get doomed with your armlet on. That is very unhappy for the lifestealer. So that's Noir going to be coming up, probably an Abyssal Blade or an AC after that. Meanwhile, what have we got? 2.4k gold on the Luna, bringing up the overall item progression panel. We do have Alchemist seemingly working his way towards an AC. They've managed to catch out Nycotic on bottom lane. Gonna drop a whole bunch of spells and finish him off. Didn't invest the Death Ward, but didn't even need to. They've got a Blink on the Disruptor, in fact. Strikes me as a little bit of an interesting pickup, but we'll see what Lissandra will be able to do with it. And we do have a lasso going out onto the Luna mid. They've got the Dazzle ultimate as well. Doom waiting in the wings, has a mech ready to go. Drops the Doom on the Batrider, but there's a Force Staff to get him back out to safety. Juppy might just be able to Grave and TP here. Uses the Grave, still standing around. In comes the Death Ward from Optic. They need to finish him off. Out comes the damage from the Lifestealer. Pops in for the Infest, but it's going to be a double kill for the Nakes. Underestimating the minus armor a little bit, and there's a triple for the Lifestealer. Beautiful turnaround for DDD. Didn't lose anyone. They even managed to get boons away and back up to full health after the Doom. And this is... things are going from bad to worse for Snatch Steal.
Dire's middle tower is
Not
under attack.
really. Things are now outside of the initial plan, which is take Roshan, 5-man, win the game. The win the game part didn't quite
Dire's
happen,
structures are
and so we're now
fortified.
stuck in a whole series of question marks, it seems, from them.
Dire's
Lost
middle tower
direction
is under
just
attack.
a bit. I mean, they've still got really good team fight, and they've got multiple Blink Daggers, and they've got
Dire's
fantastic
middle
initiation.
tower
All they need to
has
do is
fallen.
blink somebody on top of the Batrider, maybe the Doom, and go from there. Nycotic was hunting for a pickoff. He doesn't have Ghost Walk up right now, so it looks like he's gonna take a spill. No Force Staff available. A little bit too aggressive from the Invoker there, though. It looks like... oh, they are gonna pay for it. I was about to say they aren't gonna pay for it, but they are gonna pay for it. Roshan's just respawned. This is Aegis and Cheese about to be passed over to Snatch Steal, and DDD, Nycotic trying to make some big plays with his Orchid, with those pickoffs, trying to be Clinks. Is gonna end up being punished for it there.
Dire's
Okay,
top
so
tower is under attack.
DDD, Tinky, up on top lane, just gonna try and get some damage down on this tier 2. It looks like they have a pretty good handle that Roshan is will handle on the fact that Roshan is happening, but they
Dire's
can't
top
really
tower
stop
is
it
under attack.
at the moment. So just gonna try and get at the very least a little bit of a trade out.
Roshan has
Dazzle's
fallen
got a
to the
Force
down.
Staff. How's that AC coming along? Pretty well for no one. Gonna start channeling up a Blink. Tinky trying to escape here. Actually manages to drop the Hex. That's gonna be a self-stun for the Alchemist.
Dire's top
Bye-bye!
tower is under attack.
Oh, lordy lords.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
That was pretty clowny. I guess this Radiant Ward saw the Alchemist coming in and channeling up the stun, but they both kind of walked past one another over here. So I think the Alchemist might have had an opportunity to drop that concoction, but down he goes. Let's check where the Aegis and Cheese have fallen. That's going to be Aegis over on the Luna, Cheese for the Doom. And Luna now working her way towards a Butterfly. So still no tanky items in sight for this Luna. Even went for Phase Boots instead of Treads. So very squishy. If she gets the space to be able to do her thing, that's great. If she gets dragged out of the fight and gets focused down and dies, well, then you've got problems on your hands. But at the very least, they do have the Aegis. So this all-out right-click build should hopefully pay dividends. Luna's EHP, I guess, is up at 2.6k right now. And even more, she's got a bunch of armor, but spell damage is the big problem. Boon's very close to his BKB. I think if you're Boon's here, you say, team, be careful. I would like to finish my BKB before this next fight happens, and Snatch Steal. Oh, Roshan's already been taken, so they're just going to smoke up, making their way down towards bot. In comes the Alchemist, gets the stun out onto Nycotic, who drops the EMP. Static Storm's going to be dropped on top of him, but they're just jumping in. Mescal focusing over onto Silencia. Is going to be brought down. Doom used over onto the Lifestealer, and the Witch Doctor heals along with the mech. Keep the Luna alive. Right-clicks her way through to a triple kill. Nice initiation there from Snatch Steal. They do end up losing one in the midst of the chaos, but not going to be too bad. Do we have Radiant buybacks available? It looks like the answer is no. No buyback for Nycotic. There is a buyback for Mescal, and there is a buyback for Juppy, but I think without the Invoker, they're just going to be forced to give away this melee barracks. There's still tier 2s up in both top and mid, so at the very best, Snatch Steal can only get this melee barracks. There's even a glyph available as well. I don't know. No, DDD, why are you investing buybacks? Snatch Steal, why are you scared of the buyback? Okay, never mind. Never mind. That was... I did not think the Lifestealer buyback was going to be scary enough for Snatch Steal to back off. They've still got the Aegis in hand for another 3 minutes. I think maybe they realized as well that they could only take this melee barracks, and like I said earlier, they should be able to grab the melee barracks as an afterthought if they successfully racks mid, so I guess that's going to be the plan. They did get the buyback out of the Lifestealer. Mescal was maybe a little bit preemptive on that one, but again, I don't think the buyback should have even been much of a threat. So just weird plays from both teams, but it's going to work out, I think, in the end for DDD. Just because, yeah, gonna work out in the end for DDD. Just because they get more time. They can now probably successfully wait out the Aegis, which means Snatch Steal not gonna get any value out of that. The Luna does have her butterfly up and should be able to work towards a Satanic pretty soon, but again, time is all DDD want, to start equalizing that Roshan advantage, which they've done very successfully. It's only 5k gold different right now. They're actually in the lead as far as experience is concerned. Going to start working their way away at this tier 1 tower. This glyph is going to be a big clue for DDD that there is a defense on its way. And who they spotted at, the tornado's going to fly through. They get the tier 1 tower, in jumps the Alchemist. Can they get the Invoker out of here? They should have a Grave ready to go. Jumpy sitting on the back lines. Warwick is going to be... Silencia is going to be brought down. Nice Deafening Blast. Knocks back 3. The Witch Doctor, I think, canceling his own ultimate there. Boons ate the Doom. Tinky going to try and escape. The Glimpse goes back onto the Batrider, but they got the Aegis. It's 1 for 1 so far. Nycotic jumps into the Ghost Walk. The gem, however, is over on no one, so Nycotic gotta try and find some sweet jukes here until that Force Staff comes back off cooldown. Not gonna be enough. Down he'll go. Optic picking up that kill, and do we have buyback on the Invoker now? No buyback on the Invoker. DDD gonna run over towards mid as quickly as they can and hammer out this lane, just to again make sure that this is only going to be the one melee barracks or Snatch Steal. But I don't know, fight didn't quite work out as DDD were expecting there. Okay, so
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Waiting, chilling out for a little bit. Barracks still alive. Glyph still ready for DDD. Are they going to use it? There's no reason not to. Snatch Steal can't really go for a secondary objective after this. No one going to jump in. Gets the stun out onto the Tinky. But there is going to be a Grave. Keeps him alive for the time being. There's a drag back onto the Luna. DDD jumping in with a bunch of heroes. Mescal instead going to focus over onto Optic. Brings him down. However, it looks like he should take a fall from the Maledict. Will do so. Eclipse goes out, but a nice tornado going to lift the Luna up into the air. Boons tries to make his way back in, but down he goes. And Nycotic, the only one left to be able to try and fight here. Snatch Steal do manage to get the melee barracks as their prize, but DDD deciding that they're not done. We've got a buyback from Boons. How many can they catch on the way out here? Doom looks like he should be able to escape with a TP, and Silencia, way too fast, is going to be able to scoot off into the sunset with those phase boots and drum. And 3.8k gold in the bank. So next item not too far away. I'm a little bit surprised at how hard DDD tried to defend that. Again, it's just one lane of racks at this point, but looks like DDD just unwilling to budge even a little bit. And they've realized now at this point that this game is most definitely winnable. There's always the thought in the back of your mind after you get level 1 Roshan that, okay, we can win, but it's very, very difficult. Now the odds are looking maybe even 60-40 for DDD right now, even after that lane of racks is finished. So Nycotic working on a BKB, getting close, but still needs to finish farming up the recipe, so another 1k gold and a bit for him. What do we have the Luna working on? Looks like it is just going to end up being a Satanic. We've almost got the AC for the Alchemist, getting very close to that one. Yep, just needs his Hyperstone. Doom seems to be working towards Hex, would be my best guess. And what else do we have? What's the Lifestealer got? He's got his SNY completed. Is buyback on the agenda? Nope. Okay, so probably just needs to snag, I would say a Basher, just because of how many problems there's been with canceling the Witch Doctor ultimate, just because the two supports can't really get close enough to be able to throw out their interrupts. We do have a mech up for the Lion, and Tinky has his clutches on that gem as well. No gem over on Snatch Steal, so Lysander's just walking around with some Sentry Wards for the time being. But DDD feeling pretty comfortable with their control of the map. They can see some heroes up on top lane as well, so just gonna scrape together whatever farm they can. And Boons does have his BKB. He's had that for a little bit. 8 seconds left there. And gonna load up the Infest Bomb one more time with an Invis this time around to see if they can find a kill. This is very similar to the haste gank that didn't work out earlier. And if DDD lose both the Batrider and the Lifestealer here, that might just be game. Boons cannot buy back, so he's going to be dead for a while, and he did just buy back in the last fight. And even if Mescal has a buyback, not sure if they would be able to hold out. Roshan, very long respawn. Though the circle is dropping. Oh, actually, no, that's still a pretty long time. I'm surprised that the circle is actually dropping like that, but
The cavalry has
maybe
arrived.
that's also been changed. Or maybe I just didn't notice that it dropped slowly. Okay, now it's stopped. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm just going cuckoo. But anyway, Narcotic should be able to finish up his BKB. These long duration Roshan respawns have really worked in DDD's favor, just because Snatch Steal very reasonably don't want to push up out of the high ground with that one, just because of how much trouble DDD have been giving them in these last few team fights. And I feel really bad for Boons, in all honesty, because he's the only initiator for DDD, realistically. Maybe Tinky can force staff in and get something cute, but without a Blink Dagger, it's not going to be there before a BKB goes off, say on... Is there actually any BKBs over on Snatch Steal? No, there's not. There's not a one. So actually, never mind. He might be able to force staff in and get some initiation down, but Boons is up against just huge numbers of Blink Daggers on Snatch Steal. 3 Blink Daggers between the Doom, the Disruptor, and the Alchemist, and all of them are jumping straight at DDD. It's a very difficult situation for Boons here to try and out-initiate this triple Blink Dagger lineup, but he's actually done okay so far, I have to say. Pretty much finding the Luna consistently in every fight, though. Unfortunately, with this fight over here, the Luna managed to survive because they had to switch focus over to the Witch Doctor. And if that had happened with the Luna having a Satanic, then the Luna would have gone straight back to full HP. So they have to somehow kill this Luna from full to nothing. And I was saying Basher for Mescal, but I guess with the Butterfly up, he does need to end up going for an MKB instead. Which also has Mini Bash. You can also maybe cancel the Witch Doctor ultimate. Okay, so BKB up for the Invoker. Snatch Steal, Roshan has respawned, so they're going to try and get position on that one. Bottom lane is naturally going to push in, so there is no reason whatsoever for them to try and take a fight in the Roshan pit. Bottom lane is going to be enough for DDD to deal with that Snatch Steal should be able to get Roshan absolutely uncontested. DDD are going to do their best, but I think if Snatch Steal play it right and make sure that they get the momentum of top lane and mid lane moving in the right direction, then they should be able to get this no problem. And yeah, there we go. DDD occupied with bottom lane. There's going to be an Alchemist popping his head out on top, so just to make it seem like maybe Roshan hasn't respawned, and then DDD. And then Snatch Steal, sorry, just going to head into Roshan and very easily pick this one up. They've got Aegis and Cheese waiting for them. They did end up using the previous Cheese, so
Roshan has
not going to be stacking that up. And Cheese going to be passed over to the Alchemist. Aegis over on the Luna. And DDD with perhaps one last hurrah. This is where we have to take stock of buybacks as well. Buyback available for the Lifestealer. No buyback for the Invoker, but he should get it. Okay, maybe not quite.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I
attack.
really hope that the Lifestealer grabbing a few more of these CS really doesn't come back to bite
Radiant's middle
DDD in
tower
the
has
butt.
fallen.
Hopefully, Narcotic. Oh, he's
Radiant's
TPing into a
middle
pretty
tower
dangerous
is under
situation.
attack.
Not gonna get doomed just yet, but he gets glimpsed. Back to top lane. No, not quite. BKB's up, but that's a BKB wasted
Radiant
without an
structures
engagement just
are
yet. They do
fortified.
have a tornado. Glyph's gonna go off. Ooh, that was a very questionable TP from Narcotic, especially against a Disruptor. Pipe's gonna go out. And looks like Snatch Steal. They will not be denied. They're gonna head up onto the high ground this time.
Radiant's
Start
middle
working
tower
away.
has fallen.
Waves bouncing through. Deafening Blast goes out. The Static Storm gets used, but not really on anything in particular. Narcotic just gonna be able to walk out of that one, and the Luna gets hexed up, but out comes the Death Ward. Huge amount of ultimates used over in the lifesteal. He gets doomed and the Death Ward bouncing through, but all Snatch Steal want is this lane of Rax, and they're gonna get it. Not gonna get baited into diving the fountain or anything this time around. They're just looking for the win. Stun gonna go out over onto Boons, but he does manage to blink a little bit further. Closer back to safety. Is there gonna be a grave? There is, as the glimpse goes back out. Nicely played by Juppy. Multiple Force Staffs gonna get Boons back into safety. And we do have a cold snap over on the Luna. Manages to Manta through. Mescal about to be brought down. Few more right clicks. Nothing to infest into. Narcotic gonna keep on trying to fight. Gets hit by the Lucent Beam. Level Death goes out. Mescal keeps on going, but there's still an Aegis over on this Luna, and she hasn't even used Satanic yet. So that's still a whole bunch of lives. Another 4-man Deafening Blast actually catches the Disruptor on the backside. 5-man Deafening for DDD. Double kill for Narcotic and Snatch Steal. Is this being a little bit too far? Mescal gets hit by the Grave one more time. Juppy almost goes down to the bouncing glaives. And Silencia just going to try and escape. No one. Throws a stun to cover. Blinks back to safety. I don't know what all of the fighting after they got these racks was. They moved towards top lane, but there's still a tier 2 over here. So I don't know what the go was, but second lane of racks down for Snatch Steal. Still in a very commanding position, at least as far as gold is concerned. Experience a little bit more even. And the Luna finally deciding that a BKB is worth the investment. They could even maybe still have that Aegis up. And that would have been up for another 3 minutes had the Luna chosen to use Satanic in the fight. But Silencia looks like was hoping that they would die and then pop back up and then have the Satanic for the second life. Probably, I think it would have been better to use the Satanic, but overall, not a huge deal. But anyway, Snatch Steal, 1 lane of racks left to claim. DDD with their backs decidedly up against the wall. Unfortunately, this Lifestealer pick just never really got to have his prime time. Most of the time as a Lifestealer, you get good farm, you're in the safe lane, you get your first 2 items up, and then you're a monster. But during that portion of the game, DDD were extremely far behind just because of the level 1 Roshan action, and the Lifestealer doesn't really come into his own that much in the late game, especially against Doom, especially against Hexes. And DDD realizing that they cannot risk a fight in their own base, they're going to jump in. This is like their last opportunity. There's going to be a glimpse back onto Tinky, brings him out of the kinetic field. Boons jumps in, they're focusing over on the Luna, but she has managed to get off her BKB. The Satanic's going to keep her alive. She keeps on right-clicking. Narcotic gets Grave, but Mescal is going to be brought down. About the best initiation that DDD could hope for, but they're going to lose all 3 cores, and I don't even know if Tinky is safe. Glimpse is coming back off cooldown in a second, and he's going to call the GG, but it's not going to save his life. That's going to be that, and with that, Snatch Steal going to edge out the favorites in this best of 1 for the round robin portion, for the round robin qualifier portion of this competition, and walk away with a win. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. This is again the PantheonES Cup Qualifier stage. And this was one of our round 2 matches. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are going to be heading into our round 3 game, hopefully coming up next. It was supposed to start 20 minutes ago, so we are a little bit behind schedule, and hopefully we'll be able to jump straight into it. And that game is going to be Mladjo +4 versus DTN. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm going to jump out of this game pretty quickly to try and get on to the next one. If you want to leave me any feedback on my casting, you can of course email me at basecapdota@gmail.com. If you'd like to have some shots at some items for this competition, or if you'd just like to support the tournament, don't forget you can buy the ticket. It would be great. I think most of the proceeds from the ticket sales as well are going towards the main event that Pantheon Esports are going to be running. So definitely looking forward to that, and looking forward to our third round match coming up soon. Hope to see you guys then.